Hello, my name is Dante, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page. Tonight's movie is 1973's titled Sinful Bed. This is the VHS put out by Academy Entertainment, and this was actually put out in 1986. But the film itself is looks like it's from 1973. It's 84 minutes. It's in color, and look at this awesome Academy VHS copy here. You got the bottom, you got the top. Great for video store distribution. Little sticker right there. And this film right here is it's a wild film. It says in the front here, if only this bed could talk, it does. And these two ladies in the front are not in the film at all. And there was also some poster art that was done at various times. And those women were not in the film either. This is a really, really interesting film that I first saw as a youngster on Prism late at night. I remember the title, but I don't remember much about the movie. But I remember there was nudity in it when I was a youngster, so that's all I needed at that point. That was great, so I found some, lucky gem here while my parents were asleep. The Sinful Bed, and this is a VHS copy, I believe, of course this is official, but I believe that there's like an unofficial kind of bootleg DVD copy out there. There's really I don't believe an official DVD release of this film. Maybe foreign, but I'm not certain about that. This particular film is an anthology film of sorts. Approximately, I believe, about 6 stories, and there's one wraparound story that continues throughout the course of the film. And the stories and the wraparound story are all basically, we have the Sinful Bed. We have a bed that is actually speaking to you, the viewer, of all of the stories, all the way back from 1908 up to the present in the 70s, and telling you all of the stories that has happened on that bed. And the wraparound story is a new young couple who is buying, their first bed, and unbeknownst to them, they don't hear the bed talk. Nobody else hears the bed talk. The bed is only talking to you and I, the viewers of the film. And as the bed talks, a new story envelops on the history of what has happened on the Sinful Bed. And this is definitely a foreign film, it seems. It definitely seems like there is France, Germany, Britain. I'm not exactly sure of the exact origins of this particular film, but I will tell you that this is a foreign film that deals with plot lines like Nazi Germany and kind of aristocrats, but there are a couple stories of dealing with Nazis here. This is dubbed, but the dubbing doesn't seem that terrible, actually, and sometimes it doesn't seem like it's being dubbed. The film itself, it was filmed actually very nicely. It was filmed, there's some mirror shots, there a lot through kind of the voice box of the bed frame, so to speak, and just great kind of neon lighting at times, and great natural lighting, and it's lit well. There's outside shots, and there are even some creative shots in here as well. And it looks like near the beginning of the wraparound story of the film that they were doing some guerrilla shooting here, because if you look in the background, you see a little kid waving at the camera. I mean, really bizarre stuff here. So you're kind of questioning what's going on. The music of the film, whenever the wraparound story happens, it almost sounds like Mr. Belvedere, like a boom, 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 like that kind of. And then you have another like kind of beautiful piano orchestrated piece of music that kind of shows up. It's kind of like the main theme of the film. It kind of shows up around the film and ends on with the film as well. the the plot lines and the genres of the individual stories of this film, including the wraparound story, really span a lot of different feels. I mean, you would think for a film like this, called The Sinful Bed, a sexploitation type of vibe of a film, that you'd think that it would either be like, like Benny Hinn, kind of, not Benny Hinn, Benny Hill. Not the preacher. I always get confused between those two. The sexy British comedy guy. Um, it kind of has like kind of the comedy vibe, but it also has like drama, and then it also has romance and love story, but it also has one of the stories gets a little dark, with Nazi Germany, and things. Although I believe it's being told from the perspective of the Nazi. I mean, it's very, very interesting what's going on here. A couple times you're watching the film and you're almost thinking, am I watching like a Nazi film here? Like some of the stuff is in a couple of the stories. And then you just have kind of sexy stories. And the film itself, the tones of the stories are all over the place. The wraparound story has a lot of fun in it. I mean, they are treating the bed frame like a car. I mean, like just wild, weird, bizarre things with the bed frame in the wraparound stories, in the wraparound story of the whole film, where, I don't want to give away too much, but they're kind of moving the bed frame back home, and even the conclusion of the film is so bizarre, but so artistically shot and done, with where they place the bed frame, and how they kind of treat the bed frame as their new home, because as the movie says, an old bed frame, a bed frame that has spanned the course of time, is indeed a sinful bed that has no place in someone's respectable home. And that seems to be a very interesting, kind of a funny thing. This film is very witty, by the way. There's very witty dialogue in this film. It's funny. You think about it for a couple seconds, and then you kind of get what they just said, and it's funny. It's almost wittier than a double entendre, with sexual humor. It's and the stories themselves, and the movie is also witty in a way. I mean, we have stories ranging from, the origin of the bed in a bed store, a lot of like married couples, kind of having their marriages tested in a way, unique ways of married couples, raising money, definitely married couples who are free in their love, but also testing the commitments of their love. And then you also have story at a brothel, that Nazis are kind of running in a way. You have the story in a nightclub, or a gentleman's club of prostitution. You have a prostitution kind of thing. There's some interesting things in that story in the back rooms of the prostitution kind of gentleman's club, and this old heavy-set woman who kind of talks about how she just works there to get money for her deadbeat children. There are stories. Just really spanning a lot of different realms here. One in a bunker of a war. When the war's happening, you can hear the bombs going off in the background. And they really do span a lot of different vibes and feels here. I mean, overall, you would say that you would almost have a very erotic, sexploitation, dramatic type of feel, with some witty humor thrown throughout and witty dialogue. But the stories are pretty diverse, and they're sexy stories. These are stories that are erotic. There is full nudity in the film, although you don't see men's penis, you do see women's vagina. But the sex scenes are predominantly upper and behind. You're not going to see anything really in the sex scenes down below for male or female. But you will see it predominantly in the last story, a lot of female butt action there. Through the bed frame perspective. And the women are attractive in the film, the guys not so much, I guess, for the sorry ladies. But the sex scenes are very erotic in a way, and they're very you almost get the sense that you're seeing more than you actually are. I mean, they are erotic, and they are the core of this film, wrapping around the individual stories of sex in this film. It's like an anthology sexploitation film, but the actual sex scenes and everything are interesting. They're mostly straight, but we do have one lesbian scene, and which is also interesting. All the sex scenes are interesting, and they're all well shot, and they're all erotic, as I said before. And I mean, the film is itself, I know some of the movie posters rated it X, and maybe for that time it was there. Today, you know, uh, yeah, I would say probably NC-17, just because of the tones and the vibes and the sex scenes themselves, even though you're not seeing anything really going on, minus, boob sucking and, grabbing of butts and things like that, and humping and things like that. It's the tone and it's the core of the film and it's the story of the film that would really kind of land this over our territory. This is a great film if you love sexploitation films. This is a great film if you love films that are told from the perspective of a bed frame, folks. And it's a wild film and it's a fun film. And there's a lot of different stories from an antique shop and, just all these different things. And, you have free love in here, but it also goes beyond just the free love, folks. It also goes into like kind of commitment areas and things like that, while it's still wild sex, but commitment and marriage being one of the cores in the film. But it's just a fun, wild, sexy type of film. This is The Sinful Bed, and you've been watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page. Thank you so much. And this film, film was directed by Ilja von Enough truff. I think we just got our answer on this being a German film, I guess. And the women, like I said before, attractive, especially the wraparound story. She got like hippie braids, and you are going to see panties and underpants in this film, and you're going to find some interesting stories in here, and you're going to find everybody just getting sexy. And get ready for the red lighting, folks. Thank you for watching the 10 Room Bizarro page. Check out my own films at youtube.com/poopydiarrhea and my other reviews, many more to come. Ah!